Welcome back, everybody. You're listening to the No Trade Clause podcast. This is a mini episode live from Villa Rica, Georgia. We're having a golf tournament here this morning here. My special guest this morning is Anthony Johnson. Anthony he was a 13-year NBA player, guard, 40th pick by the Kings in '97. So he had a very fruitful career. A little bit back in a ways here, but Anthony, I'm glad you took the time to sit down with me here. I know you're really busy. You got a golf tournament coming up here. You got your chicken and waffles right next to us. But thanks for taking a minute to speak with me here. Appreciate it.
All good. Enjoy meeting new people and, got to do your media stuff as far as, just being a player and trying to get back to the community and the basketball world as a whole.
I love to hear. So just jump right into things, guys. I don't want to take too much of your time, Anthony, but first question I wanted to ask you is regarding your draft position. Mm-hmm. So as I stated before, draft in '97, you came in as a second-round pick.
Yeah.
Really what I wanted to ask you is, specifically like what habits or skills did you focus on developing when you got into the league? Because a lot of guys, they come in and, they have overwhelming gifts. So we see number one picks come in. You see your Kareems come in, you see LeBron James come in, and immediately they're just dominant.
Yeah.
For you, I'm sure it's a little bit different. You had to find your way. You had to carve out a role. What did you focus on just doing on the court to stand out so that you would have a chance to get minutes, solidify a role, to stick in the NBA for a long time?
Yeah. Being a young guy from Charleston, South Carolina, I was the first NBA player. But since then, we've had a few guys come out, most notably Chris Middleton from the Milwaukee Bucks. So being a trailblazer, I just wanted to make a long-lasting career. Mm-hmm. So part of that, with me being I was 6'3", so I'm a pretty big point guard. So just being physical. And back in those days, you could defend. You had to defend as far as the point guard position. You would kind of like, the head of the snake as far as, the defensive game plans and that type of stuff. So playing defense, taking care of the ball, having high assists, low turnover ratio, just being fundamentally sound. Back in those days, everyone could score, shoot, play. So it was more of just, showing that I could be a high level contributor. Night in and night out. And like I said, just trying to make a long-lasting career.
I love that. And you brought up a good point. A lot of these players come in here and it's like they can score, and pretty much everybody that comes into the league can score at a high level. You're one of the best in your team in your high school, you're in college. But what set you apart is, like you said, just taking care of the ball, doing the little things. I see players today like Tyus Jones, he plays for the Memphis Grizzlies, and Monte Morris, and he played for the Nuggets, and now he plays for the Washington Wizards, and they have really high assist to turnover ratios. And, they've been playing for a long time, and they even start at times, even though they're like around the size you are, 6'2", 6'3" guys, and make a name for themselves. So that's really a testament to your hard work and, just how much attention to detail you put into the game, even though you didn't have those crazy, I assume those athletic gifts that you can just go up there and just, dunk over everybody and, things like that.
So. Yeah. It's part of, the game is changing. The game is evolving. Now it's about scoring and shooting threes and playing pace, playing fast and that type of stuff. Back in the days, it was kind of like you play playoff basketball year round. Like it wasn't even in pickup ball. We play playoff basketball. That stuff, once you had one or two bad possessions, it was important to get a good, very solid possession and shot, even in pickup ball. So, the game has changed. But, you got to get on board with it and adjust. But, the guys nowadays, of course, records are being shattered as far as scoring because of the pace and shooting threes and teams, scoring 130, 140 points. Back in my days, if a team scored like 110, like it was some furniture moving in the locker room. But I mean, if you gave it up defensively, it was some furniture moving in the locker room. And if you were doing it offensively, you were kind of like on your game that night. So, for sure. But things have changed and you just got to get on board with it. But it's still an exciting brand of basketball.
100%. So you came into the league, and I'm sure that there were some players that kind of took you under their wing. We hear about those vets all the time.
Yeah.
You came in to a Kings franchise. I'm sure there were already established players. There were starters. There were guys that have been in the league for 10, 12, 15 years. What I want to ask you next is about those vets. So was there a player or two or a few guys that, you looked at during practice, you went up against during practice that really kind of set the tone for you. You went in and you learned from them, and you kind of just watch the way they played and watch the way they went about doing their business. Were there any guys like that stood out to you that you learned from?
Most definitely. I mean, when I think of my rookie year, I think of Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf.
Yeah.
He was, Chris Jackson at LSU, averaging 35 points a game. Right. I competed with Bobby Hurley, who led Duke. Terry DeHare, who was the Big East leading scorer. Billy Owens, who was kind of like the first big ball handling power forward at 6'10". Then, and he was one of my main bets. Then Olden Polynice, who was one of the top centers in Virginia and ACC. So, man, my rookie team, even though record-wise we weren't very good, there was a lot of talent. But my main vets, Mitch Richmond, who was in the Hall of Fame, one of the top shooting guards. Michael Jordan said he was his toughest opponent. Watching him work day in and day out, he kind of took me under his arm. As soon as I got drafted, after Summer League, he flew me out to LA. We worked out and played in this golf tournament. So he really showed me the ropes as far as what it took to be a good professional. And Billy Owens, he was, also holding my hand. And, those two guys were the ones that really made sure that I handled my business the way I was supposed to. And it just taught you invaluable lessons. And, I owe so much to those guys. I owe so much of my success to those guys. And, without them, it would have been a tough struggle for me.
Oh, yeah. That's a solid group of players to go up against in practice. I'm sure they made it tough on you, man.
Man, most definitely. I mean, being for Chelsea, I never really – my first NBA game was before the NBA draft, like live in person. So I had a whole lot of firsts. But my first time on the court in an NBA uniform, I'm playing against Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, Bobby Hurley, like these dudes that, I saw on TV and that were doing it big. So, but now I'm competing against them day in and day out. And, you just got to push all the admiration to the side and get after it. So, but, it was, iron sharpens iron. And, those guys made me a very good player, quick, fast.
Big time.
Yeah.
That's how you get better. You go against the best and, you're going to get their best shot. But at the end of the day, you're going to be a better player.
Yeah, so. Most definitely.
Absolutely. So as far as the competition, you played for a long time, as I said, 13 years in the league as a guard. I'm sure there were a lot of teams, a lot of different players you saw come in and out, a lot of talented guys. Specifically, who, as far as those opponents that you went up against during your career, stood out to you the most as far as the guys that just gave you the hardest time on the court that you just saw were the most special, most gifted players that you went up against during your career?
Yeah. Being a point guard, man, you had tough battles night in and night out, especially back in those days. The Rod Stricklands, the Kenny Andersons, the Terrell Brandons, the John Stocktons, the Mark Jacksons, the Kenny Smiths. Like, man, you could go on and on for days, as far as the competition. But the one player that I really enjoyed competing against, even though he was going to give it to me, and Damon Stoudemire also, but the one guy, probably Allen Iverson. I really enjoyed competing against AI because no matter what you heard, he could have been out somewhere till 3 or 4 in the morning, not participating in shoot around. You knew when that ball went up at 7 p.m., he was going to bring it to you. And he was going to try to score 50, and it was your job to stop him. So, that I really enjoyed competing against him. And he's the most humblest dude that you would possibly meet. So as far as, competing against him, he never talked trash, never tried to show you up as far as an opponent or playing against him. Like he just always just handled his business. He always dap you up, like good luck. But, he knew he was trying to get 50. And, and it was just, luckily, I was able to hold him to maybe 38, 40, but,
that's a good night.
That's a good night. But, it was just fun because he was an icon and he was kind of changing the game, I just enjoyed, playing against him any opportunity I got.
Awesome. Man, I've heard so many stories about AI and the way he played, but just hearing it from somebody that's, that was right there going against him, night in and night out, it's a different thing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure his teammates probably have some different stories,
Oh,
but
yeah.
you know,
Oh, yeah.
because you with your guys all the time. But
Sure.
as far as a competitor and competing against them, I loved it, and I wouldn't trade it for anything else in the world.
Now, would you say going against somebody, you say you didn't really trash talk that much. Did you find it tougher to go against guys that would verbally give it to you every night, or was it the silent assassins like him, like AI, that wouldn't really give it to you back? Were they the tougher ones to
You
go
know,
against?
it's kind of like the guys that are silent, the ones that are self-motivated. Like
Yeah.
John Stockton used to be one of the toughest guys to play against.
Yeah.
And it's like you could try to get under their skin, you could try to do things, but there's nothing that is going to bother them or get them riled up or get them off their game.
Yeah.
And you know, for me, I really didn't care for the trash talking too much, so I kind of set the tone with, you know, if guys wanted to pop off, hey man, we're not doing that tonight.
Mhm.
But you know, for the most part, you know, the respect level, if you set that tone, then guys will respect that. But to answer your question, the guys that are self-motivated that doesn't need trash talk, those were the toughest guys, to deal with.
I got you.
Yeah.
One more question here before I let you go, Anthony.
Yeah.
It pertains to the different stops you had in your career.
Yeah.
You know, you were a second round pick and you had different stops. You know, you moved around a few different times. You had different teams you played for. I'm sure it's not easy going from team to team. You know, you're traded, you're cut, whatever the case may be. What would you say is the most challenging part about just shifting teams, different environments, and how did you kind of, you know, deal with that, just going from team to team during your career, different coaches, different teammates, and all that stuff?
I mean, it was quite challenging. You know, my mouth got me in trouble, and emotion got me in trouble quite a bit. But the positive part of it was being around different organizations, being around different coaches, different schemes, and getting to experience different cities. So, you know, I always try to look at the positive end of things. You know, someone's trading for you, they obviously want you and see something in you. So, you know, it was, when I was single, it was pretty easy. Because, you know, it's just you. And you could, you know, up and move in and that kind of stuff. But then once I got married and started having a family, that's when it became a challenge. So Atlanta was always home base. But if I got traded or anything as such, then it was just me. And then, you know, my wife and family would stay here in Atlanta and take care of things here at home base. But, you know, that was probably the most challenging part, just changing in the middle of a season where you have to hit the ground running and pick up a new system and new plays and fit in and play well all at the same time. But, you know, every day in the NBA is a great day. I got to play basketball at the highest level against the best talent for 13 years. And I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. So I enjoyed it. I wish it would have lasted longer. I wish, you know, of course, you wish you would have done things a little bit differently. But the big man upstairs blessed me to have a great life. And now, you know, I can, you know, I was able to take care of family and friends. I'm still able to enjoy a great lifestyle, you know, and take it easy. So I'm truly blessed.
That's awesome. Did you find that playing here in Atlanta with those home fans and your family here, was it at a level of pressure? Did you find it harder to compete in front of those people, or did it get you up for those games knowing that your loved ones are going to be in attendance?
Like I grew up in Charleston, South Carolina. I used to travel here to Atlanta a lot when I was in college. So Atlanta is kind of like my second home. So I wanted to rep for the city of Atlanta. So it wasn't really so much pressure as much as it was to kind of show that, you know, there's good basketball here with the Hawks. And I just always tried to put my best foot forward and represent for, you know, the hometown fans, for the everyday people that you run into that supports the team. So it was really no added pressure as much as just trying to get the Hawks going and get them into the, you know, to be a consistent playoff team year in and year out. So I enjoyed that challenge. And, you know, some years it worked out, some years it didn't. But, you know, this is my home and I love it here. And I always want the best for the home team.
Fantastic. Love to hear that. Well, Anthony, that's about all I got for you here today. But hey, I appreciate you taking the time.
Enjoyed
your busy schedule. And this is a great conversation. So best of luck today and going forward. I hope you can get out there and, you know, get some birdies. And, you know,
birdies, Eagles.
I've
been playing pretty well. So I've been practicing the past couple of weeks. So I think I'm having a pretty good day.
Good stuff.
Yep.
Well, appreciate the time again. And best of luck out there.
All right. Enjoyed it. Thank you.